Hello, today's lesson is lesson 3-6, subtracting with an expanded algorithm. This is a long lesson and a tough lesson. I'm going to talk fast, click through the slides fast, and I hope you're pausing when you need to. You already know how to subtract 1- and 2-digit numbers. Today you will use what you know about subtraction and place value to help you subtract greater numbers. The learning target: I can solve 3-digit subtraction problems by breaking them into smaller, easier subtraction problems. Here's a problem like we did today, 534 minus 108. The bunny says, this looks hard. Can we break the problem into smaller, easier subtraction problems? We could take away one at a time. That wouldn't be hard. We could do 534 minus 1 is 533. 533 minus 1 is 532. 532 minus 1 is 531. 531 minus 1 is 530. Oh, this is going to take a long time. I need a nap. The bunny says, stop, I'm getting bored. So, let's find a way that is easy and fast. What number are we subtracting? We're subtracting 108. How many hundreds, tens, and ones are in 108? 108 has 100, 0 tens, and 8 ones. So let's begin with the hundreds. We can do 534 minus 100. What is 534 minus 100? 534 minus 100 is 434. Then we have no tens to subtract. What is our next step? We still have 8 ones to subtract. And we can't do 4 minus 8. We can't do 4 here minus 8, because 8 is bigger than 4. I know that 4 plus 4 make 8, so I will take away 4 first. Now I have 434 minus 4 equals 430. But we still have 4 ones to subtract. So 430 minus 4 is 426. Now we know 534 plus 100 minus 108 equals 426. What I like about this way of subtracting is that you can check your work. 100 plus 4 equals 108. So I know I have taken away the full amount I was supposed to take away. Alright, here's another problem. Dan and Beth go bowling. Dan gets a score of 87. Beth gets a score of 128. How much greater is Beth's score than Dan's score? Anytime we have a word problem, we need to ask ourselves certain questions. One question we have to ask is, what information is given in the problem? We also need to ask what the problem is asking us to do. And lastly, ask yourself, are we adding or subtracting? We know the important numbers are 87 and 128. We know we need to find the difference between the numbers, and we know that finding the difference means subtract. So, the problem is 128 minus 87. How would you choose to break this problem into smaller, easier subtraction problems? There are no hundreds to subtract, and I can't do 20, that's the 10 column, minus 80, that's the tens column here. I can't do 20 minus 80, but I know that 60 plus 20 equals 80, so I can take away 20 to start, 20 minus 20. So I did 128 minus 20 equals 108, but we still have 6 tens to subtract, because remember we broke that 8 apart into 60 plus 20. So we have 6 tens to subtract. 108, which is the number we ended up with, minus those 6 tens, or 60, equals 48. What's our next step? Our next step is to take away ones. 48, that's the number we were left with after already doing some subtracting. 48 minus 7 is 41. So 128 minus 87 is 41. We know the final answer is 41. Here's another problem. Beth bowls one more game to see if she can tie her record. Her record is a score of 165. She needs 37 more to do this. What is Beth's score right now? What information is given in the problem? What is the problem asking us to do? Are we adding or subtracting? The important numbers are 165 and 37. We need to find what number is 37 less than 165. we need to subtract. 165 minus 37. How would you choose to break this problem into smaller, easier subtraction problems? There are no hundreds to subtract. What's our next step? I can do 60, the tens, minus 30. 165 minus 30 is 135. What's our next step? Our next step is to subtract the ones. I can't do 5 minus 7. What can I do instead? I know that 5 plus 2 equals 7. I can do 5 minus 5. 135 minus 5 is 130. Are we done now? No, we're not done now. We still have two more ones to subtract. 130, that's the number we had before that we ended up with, minus 2 is 128. Now we know 165 minus 37, the original problem, equals 128. To check and make sure we subtracted all the numbers we were supposed to, we can add 30 plus 5 plus 2 equals 37. We know we've done it right. Here's My Little Pony. Rainbow Dash says, I don't understand why we write down the numbers we subtract at each step. It seems like a lot of writing. Do we have to? This little girl says, yes, we do have to write down the numbers for this particular algorithm. It's a way to keep track of your work and make sure you aren't forgetting to subtract any parts of the number. When you finish, you can use addition to check if your answer is right. Here's another one. Suppose you want to subtract a 3-digit number from another 3-digit number. Why can the problem be made easier by breaking it into smaller problems and doing repeated subtraction? This girl says, I know how to subtract with regrouping, that's the regular way, but I might be able to do it this way without a pencil and paper. Also, I like breaking numbers apart. This man says, I need to subtract 345 minus 124. I want to try doing it this way. What number do I subtract first? You could start with 300 minus 100, or you could start with 40 minus 20, or you could start with 5 minus 4. It doesn't matter, you'll need to do all of these subtraction problems. This boy says, I need to subtract 623 minus 411. I subtracted the hundreds and tens so far. What is the sum of the two numbers I have subtracted so far? Well, he subtracted the hundreds, which means he subtracted 400. He subtracted the tens, which means he subtracted 10. 400 plus 10 equals 410. How much do I still need to subtract? Well, 623 minus 411, if you've already subtracted 410, you still need to subtract 1. He says, thanks for asking that question, it's just like one on the test. Then he says, if I did 634 minus 210, could I start by subtracting 10? Yes, you could choose to start by subtracting 10, but you don't have to start there. You could start by subtracting 200. That would be another choice. All right, here's another problem we did. 374 minus 236. Pause the video to try this on your own. Here's the answers. The final answer is 138. Here's another problem we tried as a class. 674 minus 332. Pause the video to try it on your own. There's the answer. And that was it for today.